Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Road to Pro. Today's going to be slightly different than normal, because I'm tired of shooting every episode down in my basement. Today, I want to talk about getting prepared for a tournament, and getting prepared for a tournament is kind of like getting prepared for anything else. It takes a lot of training, a lot of practice, and well, frankly, a lot of knowing how and what to practice. So today, I'm going to take you fishing with me, and we're going to have a little talk about getting ready for a tournament. Gotta grab my tools. Being good at foosball is kind of like trying to be good at anything else. It takes time, it takes practice. Someone smarter than me once said, amateurs practice until they can do it. Pros practice until they can't miss. And that's very similar to anything you do in life. Practicing foosball and getting ready for a tournament all comes down to really practicing often and making sure that you can't miss. A foosball tournament's kind of like a marathon. If you can't get ready for a marathon by running and doing all the things that you need to do, you're never going to be able to complete that marathon. Walking, running. These are actually great practice things for going to a major foosball tournament because you're going to be on your feet all day. And that's not even before we get to the foosball.
Hey, hey, follow me low, down, down, follow we go. Hey, hey, follow me low, down, down, follow we go. Now I'm not trying.
Hey, first one. Let's get him back in the water and then let's talk. So, running and walking is really going to help when it comes to a foosball tournament. There's so much going on that you kind of forget that you need to rest during one. Practice is going to be another huge aspect, but you've got to have the physical endurance to make sure that you can get through an entire tournament. It's very important. Just in case you're wondering what I'm throwing today, I've got a little rooster tail here. Kind of looks like a bluegill, little bluegill. I found they really like spinners here, so let's keep throwing. The last thing you want to have happen when you're at a foosball tournament is to run out of stamina, get tired, your muscles become tired. Truth be told, working out, running, all those types of things are really going to help get you further in tournaments opposed to just being good at foosball. Alright, number 2. That. But Chase, why did you take us fishing? Well, I'm actually training a little bit. I find that casting a rod uses similar muscles to foosball. As you're casting, you're using your wrist. Those wrist muscles are vital to having good stamina at a tournament. So I've actually been fishing for the last week or so, getting ready for Illinois State. It's all about training. When you're fishing, you're also standing. You're standing a lot in foosball tournaments. Starting to get the drift yet? I'm not saying you have to go fishing to get better at foosball, but you have to find something that allows for you to be standing for a long period of time, walking around, and possibly even using your arms. It's pretty vital. Endurance. Now, fishing isn't the only thing you can do. You can find other great ways to get your endurance built up. Tennis, floor hockey. Pick a sport that uses your arms and legs. You need to grow your endurance for these big tournaments. You need to know what needs to be done to get the physical endurance up so that you can actually last the whole tournament. I've gone over a ton of different physical aspects of the game. How to shoot, how to practice. But how much to practice before a tournament, I haven't touched on. Truth be told, the real answer is impossible to give. The more time that you put on a foosball table, the better you're going to do at a tournament. Especially if you're practicing the way that I've told you to practice. There's no way to tell you if you practice 5 hours a day, every day, that you're going to be able to do great at the tournament. That's not the case. There's a million other factors that go into it, and I'd be lying to you and to tell you that everyone's going to be good enough to win a tournament. It's not true. But if you follow this kind of plan that I've set forth, your chances are going to be better. 4 weeks out from a tournament is when you should definitely amplify your game. Practice a whole lot more. Discipline now becomes your greatest adversary. Your discipline before a tournament is going to be the main factor of how well you do. If you're willing to sit down and practice every day for those 4 weeks and increase what you actually do every single day, your body's going to be much more ready for the tournament. Now, why did I pick 4 weeks? Well, for the first 3 weeks of practice, you should be intensifying your training until 1 week out before the tournament. Then, that week before, almost the entire week should be rest, or a little bit of 5-bar practice every day. If you just throw in maybe 10, 15, even 20 minutes of 5-bar only practice the week before your tournament and during that week, you're going to be alright. But don't take any shots, or take very, very few. You want your arm to be fully rested before the tournament. Trust me when I say, you're going to want that rest. Big tournaments take a big toll on your body. I always suggest repetition. Quality repetition. I'd say for the first week, I'd make sure you do probably 50 shots a day and work on your 5-bar for 20 to 30 minutes every day. That probably puts in about an hour of table time every day that week, give or take. If you're taking quality shots, it should take you 10 to 15 seconds for each shot. You don't want to take away from the long-term game, taking your time on your 5 and your 3. Especially if you're a forward. If you're a goalie, it's a little bit different. I'd actually say work on your shot the most, work on clearing and passing a ton, even if you don't have someone there to practice with. Just pass at the guys. And lastly, if you're a goalie, watch a lot of foosball matches. Watch different defenses, how they act, how they move. Watching different defenses will really give you a leg up. Gives you different ideas, different things to try. Fast, slow, different switches, baits. If you're paying close attention to the match, you can see the progression of the defense as well, the adjustments that they make. There's something to be said about watching foosball matches and buying those DVDs from Inside Foos. They help a ton. There's a ton of matches on YouTube as well, so I'd get your homework started. Now, in the second week of your practice, I would amplify it a lot. I'd work a half hour at minimum a day on your 5-bar, if not an hour, and up the shots to almost 100 a day, if you can do it. Your arm will get tired, but those repetitions over the 3 weeks that you're going to be practicing very heavily is going to be vital. Lastly, in the third week, I would actually amp up and then down how many shots you take. Somewhere between 150 and 200 is going to probably be about the right number for the first 3 to 4 days of that 7-day week. Then for the last 3 days, really scale it back. Work on taking more time, setting the ball up, ball control stuff. You want to peak, truly peak at the tournament of your abilities. That's going to be something that we talk about in another video, because honestly it's just too difficult to explain. But your main goal is to play your best at the tournament, not at home in your basement, or living room, or wherever it is you have your table. The week of rest is going to be exceptionally important. I can't tell you how important this is. So what you need to do is make sure that you're resting your arm. Try not to sleep on it with it extended. It's not going to go well for you. And also, make sure that you're doing some other physical activities to get your endurance up. Run, walk, fish, whatever works best for you. But all of these things combined will give you the endurance, the game plan, the structure to take on the big boys at the big tournaments. Today's been a very different style of Road to Pro. It's more of like a vlog than it is anything else, and I'm kind of sorry for that, but I need to know what you guys think of it. So hit the like button down below if you want to see more episodes like this one, or if you want me to just stay on a foosball table. It's such a nice day, I couldn't help but give it a shot. I can't give you guys a firm answer on to how much or how little to practice. It took me years to get just good at foosball, and far more years to even turn pro. And by no means am I the best player in the world. Not yet. Still coming for you, Tony. But practicing for a tournament is different than normal practice. Normal practice is here and there. Practicing for a tournament is much more structured, much more specific, with a goal in mind. I hope you guys like this episode of Road to Pro. Please leave your comments down below. I need a lot more of your guys' input on what type of videos you'd like to see next. If you've liked this episode and you want to watch my last episode of Road to Pro, click over here. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, click here. Until then, guys, happy foosing, and I'll see you at Illinois State. Man, it's nice out.